It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer called Station Porter. Now I picked this beer up in B&M Bargains. It's a 6.1% ABV premium ebony ale from Wickwar Wessex Brewing Company. Cox's Green, Rington in Bristol. There we go. A black bottle cap on this one. Lots of breweries popping up in the Bristol area. It's fantastic to see, it really is. These guys have been around a long time. I know that because I've seen their beers around. I've definitely seen their beers before in kind of home bargains, B&M bargains, B&M store, whatever they're called. Yeah. I think they've kind of situated their beers in that kind of price bracket, if you want, in that kind of 6.1, slightly stronger, but still able to sell it in a kind of value store, which is pretty cool. I'm not expecting the world here. Before I even open the bottle, this cost me about £2. For the 6.1% ABV beer, £2, I'm not expecting the world. Let's get it open, into a glass, see what we get. We got good smoke on the bottle opening. Beer in the glass. So I'm very much going into this beer review with the mindset of I didn't pay much money. So I'm not expecting too much. If the beer turns out to be okay, then for me, hunky-dory, you know, happy days. It's looking already more of a strong, dark, mild than a porter. There's a lot of light bleeding through. In fact, there's a ton of light. If I can just get this glass of beer to the side here and show you, you can see it's almost ruby red. It's probably closer to looking like a hobgoblin than a porter. But again, I'm okay with that. At this stage, I'm okay with that. If you wanted to add loads of roasted malt to this beer, loads of oats to this beer, make it really rich and creamy, tobacco smoke and kind of proper porter-like, you wouldn't be paying the £2 that I paid for this beer. You'd be paying more like £3.50 for a good 6.1% ABV porter in this day and age, in early 2022. Let's get the aroma. One finger slightly off white head, yeah. Slow moving carbonation. Looking like a dark mild, a ruby red coloured beer. Aroma. It's a touch roasty. There's a little bit of caramel coming through. A little bit of roasted malt. A little bit of tobacco smoke. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. It's a bit wishy-washy. It is a bit wishy-washy. There is roasted malt on the back end. It's a bit like tar-like. It's a bit. Do you know when you walk past it where they lay in the road, where they got the tarmac machine at full blast, and you can smell it in the air, the tarmac, or they're even painting the white lines in the road. It's got that kind of tarmacy kind of road surface taste to it. It's very thin. It's not really drinking like a porter in terms of big and bold and nice creamy mouthfeel. It's not really doing that. It's a little hoppy. It's the dark berry fruits coming through. It's a little kind of like blackberry bush, bit of prune and fig, some bitterness, kind of like slightly kind of astringent bitterness coming through on the back end. Yeah, it's an astringent bitterness. There's a bit of caramel coming through. There's a bit of coffee, chocolate, caramel coming through. But in truth, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, even at £2 for this beer, I'm going to struggle. Like, just say you had friends round. I had family round on the weekend. We went to a craft beer bar and we got a flight of beers in. I got a flight from my brother-in-law in, and you know, there was a sour beer and there was kind of saison and an IPA, and there was a Colonel Brown Ale there, and he had a taste of it. Now my brother-in-law is not really a craft beer drinker at all, so to get him to try these different kind of flights was interesting, because you can see their face. It's like, wow, you know, this is beer. It's not like he would come up and he would visit me and I'd go, right, I need to get down B&M now and I need to buy 5 bottles of this for him. It's not something. I think this is the type of beer where if you can shut your eyes, close your eyes, sit next to a bit of a garden fire going on and pretend you're trying to drink something of luxury, then you might be able to stretch it, but there's a lot of imagination involved to be able to sit down and say, I'm drinking a really good porter here. And that's a shame. That's a shame, because I've been drinking lots of beer from Bristol recently. I've come across another new Bristol brewery, in fact called New Bristol Brewery, and their beers are tremendous. Absolutely fantastic. They double in price for this, of course. It's something like £4.50 a can. But the beer is generally terrific. You can visit kind of Wild Beer and Bristol Beer Factory, and there's so much going on in Bristol. And I just wonder, being a Bristol company, Wickwar Wessex Brewing Company, sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Sounds wonderful. They got the gold print, black and gold. It's got that kind of quality look to it. It's almost as if they stood back in time. They're a brewery they're slightly maybe worried to go all out and produce something at a good price with lots of quality ingredients, because they just don't know how to sell it. And that's a shame. That's a shame, because they'll always end up being in places like B&M or Home Bargains, trying to sell this porter, which it's not great. It's not great. But my question here is to this Bristol brewery, Wickwar Bristol. Let's call them Wickwar Bristol Brewery for now. My question is, with all of the great beer popping up in Bristol, do these old-fashioned breweries, do they sit there in their offices with their eyes closed, pretending that what's going on in their local area is not really going on? They can't compete. They can't compete on kind of quality of beer. They can't compete on price. They just... Do they just sit there with closed doors going, no, this is the way to do this. We've been doing this for X amount of years and we're going to carry on ploughing down this line of no change and no innovation and we're going to carry on brewing these bottom line beers and put them in home bargains and hoping, or B&M bargains or whatever they're called, B&M stores, and we're going to hope that people pick this up and buy it. Even at £2, I'm going to really struggle to make a trip to B&M bargains and buy another bottle of this. They must try other people's beer. Wickwar, they must go out and try other people's beer and go, actually, this is nice, this is good, this is decent. Or have they found this market? Have they found that silver bullet for themselves where they can go, hang on a minute, we can get on here, we can make a living here by producing this gold and black label looking slightly posh beer at bottom prices, and we're making money. Is that what it is? Is it just pure bottom line? It's thin, it's watery, it's astringent in terms of bitterness. There's a stretch of plum and fig and prune, and there's a stretch of coffee and chocolate and caramel, but it's a stretch. It's a stretch to talk about those kind of flavours in the beer. It looks slightly decent as you rock it back and forth. But yeah, I've had enough. I won't be drinking the rest of this beer. Water, malted barley, hops and yeast. They're the ingredients. It's a shame because, there's no artificial stuff going on here. It is a shame, but there's just not enough going on. If Wickwar Brewery could find a means to sell this maybe in a couple of posh restaurants in the Bristol area and up there, maybe make this £1 a bottle more and actually use some good quality malts and some good quality hops, then they might be able to get their name out there a little bit more. But at the moment, all I think about when I see this company's beers, because I do see this company's beers and it's only ever in a bargain basement supermarket, and that must be slightly, even if the company's making money, it must be kind of like, can you imagine going into work on a Monday morning, like, oh, we need to produce 500,000 bottles of this stuff now to chuck into kind of B&M. I don't know. I never wanted to be that guy talking about beer that's not that great. Maybe I shouldn't be reviewing this style of beer. Maybe I should leave this type of beer alone. But at the same time, I want to cover it. Because I've had some good ones in the past from Lidl and Aldi, where I've gone, do you know what? For the price point, for people with next to no money in their pockets, this is okay. But this is not. This is just not hitting that same standard. I'd struggle to pay £1 for that. Rating 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.